Hey guys, and welcome back to Pat's Fish Tanks. So one of my goals in 2020 is gonna be to develop my Fancy Guppies strain series. Now in this series I would like to show you as many strains of Fancy Guppies as possible, and I hope I'm gonna be able to cooperate with several guppy breeders. So we'll begin with a strain that I keep, breed and also really enjoy, and that is Lazuli Blue. I've purchased these two pairs of blue Lazuli Guppies 19th of July last year. Since the beginning, both pairs were together, and as the breeder I got them from has been colony breeding these fish, most likely both females have been hit by other males as well, not only these two that I've purchased. It didn't take long and the females started to have fry. First drop I got out of them was already 29th of July, meaning that females were pregnant before I brought them to my aquarium. Interesting fact about this strain was that parents were not interested in eating babies at all, but I've always separated the fry from the parents anyway just in case. Another interesting fact was that every drop I got out of them was less than 20 babies, was a little bit unusual for guppies, but with Fancy Guppies it may happen. Males were absolutely beautiful with quite large dorsal fins and broad tails that were supposed to be delta shaped, but unfortunately in both males were a bit too round. So my ultimate goal was to try to separate males with a bit more straight line delta tail from future juveniles, and also focus on trying to get a bit longer dorsal that would reach approximately to 1/3 of the tail fin. One of them also had a tiny bit of orange coloration in the body, but after studying their genetics I discovered that according to various sources they are not genetically related only to Japan blue guppies, but also to coral red guppies, and orange or red coloration may appear in their drops. Females had beautifully colored fins and had one special trait that is not very common even for Lazuli guppies. If you look closer, top edge of the tail fin is much longer than the bottom one, creating shark-like looking tail. According to my discussions with various guppy professionals, this gene was most likely introduced into this strain somewhere in Asia, but unfortunately we can only assume that. As I mentioned earlier, the drops were quite small. From the first two drops I was able to raise 6 males and 12 females. These 6 males are first part of my generation 1. Every one of the males I was able to raise had something special that someone may like, however for me, the choosing of the male that I will breed further was quite straightforward. I was looking for a blue fish without any orange coloration with a little bit longer dorsal fin and also straight edge of the tail, so the tail would be a little bit more delta shaped. As you can see, this fella has that, and therefore I've chosen him for further breeding. I've separated him with 3 other females. 2 of these females have shark tails, 1 doesn't. The reason why I've also chosen female with regular tail is that shark tail in females is not very common and usually in the shows is considered as a defect and may get female down pointed. Therefore, although I really enjoy this shark tail gene, I'll for practical reasons also need some females with regular tail for shows. They already had few fry recently. I'll wait a bit more, and as long as the drops will get a little bit bigger, I'll start separating fry to a different aquarium. These baby fish will basically be my second generation. We can also take a look to another males that I didn't select for future breeding. Some of these fish I'll most likely sell with females as pairs or trios, and some of them I'll keep for upcoming shows. Male B has by far the biggest tail fin and his dorsal fin is also decent, however not as good as the one that male A has. Also he has a bit less coloration in the body and he has a black spot on his dorsal fin that I don't really like. Male C is my second favorite. He's absolutely gorgeous fish with a nice decent fins, however with a bit less coloration in the body, and that is the only reason why I didn't select him. Most likely I'll keep him for upcoming guppy shows. Male D is also quite cool looking fish. His coloration is a bit darker, however he also got a lot of coloration into the pectoral fins, what makes them stand up a little bit, almost looking like a mini variation of Dumbo ears. Cool looking fish, however not my favorite. Male E has really high quality fin shapes, however the orange coloration is in this fish dominating. As I have already mentioned earlier, having orange or red fish in the Lazuli drops is quite common, as although majority of them are blue, they still carry this gene. Male F is very similar to the male E, with orange coloration dominating in his body. Some people may enjoy fish like this, and I even received a lot of positive comments on them, however they are not what I'm looking for. But I'll try to find them new homes where they'll be happy. I'm growing up my males separately from the females. When they develop gonopodium, I'm separating them to another aquarium to grow them up. Growing them separately results in much higher quality of your males. I'm also keeping my aquariums on quite low temperature, around 23 to 25 degrees Celsius, what's around 73 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. They grow much slower, but they should have much longer lifespan. Now let's head to more boring part of this video, and that is, what about these fish says academic literature? On page 150 we can find a little bit of information about Lazuli strain. This guppy was designed by Satoshi Kobayashi from the Osaka Kansai Guppy Club. Now according to this publication, those ones with a little bit of orange coloration are actually called European Lazuli, and as you guys can see, these two guys are basically identical with the original male that I had. So, they first appeared in 1999 and they generated a tremendous amount of interest in Japanese guppy press. Now, they has long been described as a Japan Blue with extra genes for the color, particularly on the head. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that it joins a unique category, one that also includes the Singapore Neon Blue, the Full Red, and other strains. The German breeder Robert Gall believes that the Lazuli is actually more related to Coral Red Guppy. Now their connection with Coral Red Guppy and also Full Red Guppy may explain why I'm having orange fish in my drops. Another place where I have also discovered them under the name of Lazuli Blue is the gallery of Guppy Hobby Deutschland. I've seen similar fish with several names, like for example many of my American friends call this strain Schubel Blue according to breeder Stan Schubel. Many times in the comments happen that people say, oh, it's Japan Blue, why you call it Lazuli? I think Japan Blue is a little bit different strain, but I might be wrong. So I will continue calling them Lazuli Blue, and I would like to hear your guys' opinion. What do you think about this strain? Let me also know which male from the first generation you like the most, and which one would you choose for the next breeding project. So these were my blue Lazuli. You guys may see them in some of the upcoming fish shows and maybe on some expos. So thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope to see you next time.